Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night Moicano versus Denis. As you can see, this fight is, at this point, probably 3 weeks behind us at the time of this recording. But I finally got to it, and the overall theme of this fight is the French crowd is loud, which is actually a cool thing, because most fight nights, you don't get this sort of experience. And them being loud and uber patriotic is something that's really nice to see. The bad part about it is it seems as though the French judges, and by French judges I mean the one French judge on each card that they put on, or on each fight, needs to wear earplugs, because either they don't know how to score, or the French crowd is influencing them to score very, very badly. So we start off with the first fight. Cornolle versus Cavalcanti. I had this 29-28 for Cavalcanti. If you had this any other way, you are retarded. It's as clear as day. Okay? There's no other way to score this card. There's no other way to score this fight. All right? This fight ended up being a split decision, and when they were announcing it, I almost thought to myself, what the fuck is going on? What is happening right now? 29-28 Cavalcanti. I give the last 2 rounds to Cavalcanti. You have the first round. Cornolle outstruck Cavalcanti, and she had a takedown. She outstruck her by like 5 strikes. Cavalcanti had a reversal at the end, but that doesn't matter. First round goes to Cornolle. Pretty simple. You go to the second round. Cornolle outstruck Cavalcanti by 2 strikes. But she got dropped. The round goes to Cavalcanti. Simple. Very simple. Last round, Cavalcanti outstruck Cornolle. Cornolle kept trying to take her down, was very unsuccessful. And she got outstruck on the feet and in the slight exchanges that they had close up to the fence. I don't know how you look at this fight other than Cornolle's goofy facial expressions, where she's just like, oh, look at me. I'm really cool and eccentric because I'm occasionally. It's not as though she was dodging Cavalcanti's strikes. She got hit by Cavalcanti and then gave like a pompous expression of like, yeah, that didn't really do shit, but it did, and she got outstruck, and she was losing the last 2 rounds. And then they read the decision, and I almost punched my computer screen because Cornolle gave a look as though she got robbed, when in fact she should have just left the arena. She should have just left. I was more pissed at Cornolle's facial expressions than this decision being read. But we go to the scorecards, and Saul D'Amato and Anders Olsen both have it. Their scorecards reflect mine. The last 2 rounds I gave to Cavalcanti. The first round I gave to Cornolle. These are the correct scorecards, and it's gonna come off way, but for the first time in a long time, I'm so thankful that international cards feature the Vegas judges, because the Vegas judges and the European judges, right? Because sometimes you can, if this card had all 3 French judges, Cornolle might walk away with a robbery victory. So I'm very thankful that these 2 judges were on the scene. You have Mongi Zitoni, I think that might be his name. He gives the first round to Cornolle. He gives the last round to Cornolle. I'm stunned. It's almost like they're scoring it backwards. Aggression means you're winning, but you're getting outstruck means you're winning as well. I'm lost. But honorable mention to that guy, because that's just a terrible fucking scorecard. All right, we go to the next honorable mention, and that's Barez. If you listen to the commentary, you know that Michael Bisping wouldn't shut up. This was actually not a bad commentary this week. You know me. I fucking hate the commentary crew. I shit on the commentary. I was about to spaz on John Gooden, who arguably is the best play-by-play guy. Maybe next to Anik, but I think he's better than Anik. Maybe the best play-by-play guy in the UFC. There was a moment during the Cornolle Cavalcanti fight, or the end, where he said, I don't know about that scorecard. I might have to watch it back. And I almost broke I almost break my computer screen, but I think I actually almost broke my computer screen because I don't know what he was saying. And then he cleared it up at the end where he was basically just trying to save face and be nice to Cavalcanti, be nice to Cornolle. But Barez, the correct pronunciation that Michael Bisping enunciated maybe 72 times, again, they didn't do too bad on commentary. I think this was actually very enjoyable commentary up until the main event where Bisping got a little annoying. But other than that, this was the commentary were great. I really have no complaints. But Barez versus Altamirano. I had 29-28 for Altamirano. Last 2 rounds for Altamirano. First round to Barez. Last round is a close round. Now, when they read this decision, I was thinking, okay, last round's close. Cool. That's fine. Barez can get, objectively speaking, this couldn't go either way. This really can go either way. And then I saw the scorecards and I thought to myself, you fuckhead scored the wrong card. You scored the wrong round. You scored the wrong rounds. And so now, Altamirano should have won, but he didn't. But I can't complain because technically this is kind of close. You really can't argue it both ways. But they scored it to the wrong person. We'll get to that in a second. But in the first round, it's close on the feet, but Barez dropped Altamirano, and he had some ground and pound. In the second round, Altamirano outstruck Barez by about 4 strikes. He did not, and this is important here, he did not get dropped. He slipped on the first instance, and on the second instance, he was just off balance. He was not dropped in any sense of the imagination. Altamirano was outstriking Barez essentially for this entire round. He outstruck him by 4 strikes, but he was outstriking him the entire round. He was not dropped at all. This round should not go to Barez. It should go to Altamirano. Instead, it was given to Barez. We'll get to that in a second. Then we go to the third round, which is the close round. Okay? And it's close for a weird reason I have in my head, but personally I think Altamirano won this round. Altamirano outstruck Barez by 15 strikes. He was outstriking him clear as day. Barez gets dropped in the first half of the round. Altamirano gets dropped at the end of the round. It doesn't matter when they got dropped. They both got dropped. Both of them were hurt. But Altamirano outstruck him by more than a dozen strikes. That round belongs to him. But I have to put a close marker to be objective because he gets dropped at the very end there. So I can't be mad if a judge were like, okay, he gets dropped at the end. He got dropped pretty bad. He flung back up, but he got dropped pretty bad, so I can see someone giving that to Barez. That's why I put the close marker. We go to the judges' scorecards, where it doesn't even fucking make sense on all 3 judges' scorecards. Clemens Warner, David Lethaby, Ludwig Dandine. I'm giving them all an honorable mention. All of them. It's ridiculous what they did. They give the first round to Barez. And they give the last round to Altamirano. Again, the last round's close. I wouldn't be mad if someone gave it the other way, but they give the second round, all 3, they give the second round to Barez. The round where Barez does not drop Altamirano, and he gets outstruck pretty well. So, just ridiculous shit. Just absolutely ridiculous shit that really pissed me off. I don't want to... Nonsense. The scorecards are wonky this night. You go to the next honorable mention. Another wonky scorecards where optics kind of dictate some of the scorecards. Klein versus Roberts. The commentary is blowing Roberts, and while I think they should have given him his props, of course there were moments where he was landing very well on Klein, so that's understandable. But he was losing all 3 rounds. He was losing all 3 rounds. He lost all 3 rounds. There's no way to slice this. Klein versus Roberts. I had this 30-27 for Klein. You had this 30-27 for Klein. In the first round, if I can find it real quick, Klein outstruck Roberts by 6 strikes. In the second round, Klein had ground and pound for about 3 minutes. Roberts was active on his on the bottom, but it's not enough to win the round. And then in the third round, Klein had 2 takedowns, with some ground and pound. Again, Roberts was active on his back. So there you have it on that. There are moments in the fight where Roberts lands something really nice on Klein. He cuts him open. But again, he's getting outstruck for the entire fight. He's getting outgrappled for the entire fight. You go to the scorecards. Ludwig Dandine, he's the only one who has the correct scorecard. It's 30-27 to Ludwig Klein. Anders Olsen and Clemens Werner, their scorecard is exactly the same. They give the first round to Roberts. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Honorable mention of those two. You got the next honorable mention, and it's Cutelaba versus Erslan. This fight ends in a split decision. It shouldn't be a split decision. Someone was lagging off. Someone fell asleep. It's fucking nuts. And this isn't even me saying Cutelaba took off the last round, so therefore it affects us. No, he was up 2-0. He was up 2-0, and for some goofy reason, a judge decides to give one to Erslan. Erslan was mostly inactive for the first 2 rounds, and then he finally caught a break in the third round. 29-28 to Cutelaba, ends in a split decision, obviously. You go to the first round. Okay, you go to the first round. If I can find it here. Found it. Cutelaba outstruck, and he dropped Erslan. He outstruck him by 3 strikes. So in terms of strikes, they were kind of competitive with each other. But he dropped him. That round belongs to Cutelaba. Second round, Cutelaba outstruck, and he had 2 takedowns on Erslan. This is what confuses me, because I took a peek at the scorecards. He outstruck him. He had 2 takedowns. Okay, Erslan had a reversal, but that doesn't matter. Cutelaba was controlling this entire round. You go to the third round, both had a takedown, but Erslan had some ground and pound, and he outstruck Cutelaba as well. So the third round goes to Erslan. You go to the judges' scorecards, where just ridiculousness all around, just from one judge, really. Anders Olsen, Clemens Werner, the scorecard reflects mine. First 2 rounds for Cutelaba, last round for Erslan. And then Damian Gluski, who the fuck is that? Crazy. Gives the first round to... Guys, he gives the very first round to Erslan. I repeat, Erslan was dropped in the first round. What the fuck are we scoring? What are we scoring, guys? He gives the first round to Erslan. Already there, honorable mention. Shit scorecard, terrible fucking scorecard. Gives the first round to Erslan. Gives the second round to Cutelaba. Gives the third round to Erslan. Of course, the third round goes to Erslan, but what the fuck is he doing? The first round alone should disqualify him. Absolute nonsense. Honorable mention of fucking Damian. Stupid fucking scorecard. There's points in this card where you're just thinking, what the fuck are these judges thinking? It's fucking ridiculous. You go to the next honorable mention, and that's Ziam versus Frevola. Obviously, Frevola wins in the third round by K. Just a nasty knee to the face. It was fucking awesome. It was so fucking awesome. Isn't he fucking awesome? It's tremendous. The first 2 rounds I gave to Ziam, 10-9, of course. In that first round, Ziam had a reversal. They kind of end up on the ground, but Ziam had a reversal, and he outstruck Frevola by about 19 strikes. Frevola had a submission attempt, but it was pretty quick. Second round, Ziam had a takedown with some ground and pound, and he outstruck Frevola by about 19 strikes again. I mean, Ziam was just... He was outstriking Frevola very, very well in those first 2 rounds. And then the KO comes in the third round. You go to the judges' scorecards. Mangi Zituni, his scorecard reflects mine. First 2 rounds for Ziam. Same thing with Saul Diamato. And then David Lethaby, first round for Ziam, 10-9. And then the second round, he gives a 10-8. He gives a 10-8 in the second round. If I'm just going to be honest with you, it's an unnecessary 10-8. It really isn't. There's no need to elevate this as a 10-8. Honorable mention to David Lethaby. I disagree with that. We go to the next honorable mention. And that is Jousset or Jousset, I don't know how to pronounce his name, versus Battle, okay? Jousset versus Battle. I had this as a 10-9. A 10-9 for Jousset in the first round. It was very close. When I was looking back at this, I put a close marker on it. And initially, I didn't put a close marker on it, but I probably should have. Jousset definitely outstruck. In my opinion, Jousset definitely outstruck Battle, barely. But it was very close on strikes. And while for the majority of the round, Jousset was outstriking Battle at the very end, that last flurry that he kind of had at the end, really closed up the strikes to pretty close to 0. So put a close marker on it to be objective. Even in the moment, I thought it was kind of close as well in that first round. And then he wins by TKO in the second round. The judges' scorecards reflect the same thing. 10-9 for Battle by Cartilage. Same with Saul D'Amato. And then David Lethaby has 10-9 for Jousset in the first round as well. And that's what you have it on that. You go to the next honorable mention. And this is Gomis versus Brito. Another fight that ends in a split decision. And if I'm just going to be honest with you, I can't fully complain about this one. I want to call it a robbery. I can't call it a robbery because it actually genuinely is a little close. Now, I only think one round is close, and that's round 1. Round 1 I think is close. The other 2 rounds go to Brito. I had this 30-27 for Brito. You can argue maybe a 29-28, but again, the rounds are too close for me to stick my thumb in it and just go, he got robbed. So it's not a robbery. It's just one of those close fights that you can toss on. The problem I have with this fight is occasionally during the card, they would show the scorecards, and oh boy, did I get mad because, again, they're scoring the wrong rounds. It makes no fucking sense. We start off with the first round. Close on the feet. Brito had a takedown and a submission attempt, while Gomis had a reversal. I give that round to Brito, but again, it's kind of close. Gomis has a reversal. It's really close on the feet. The submission attempt by Brito isn't really in. It's not in. But he has it, but it's not in, and he has a takedown. So I lean towards Brito on that. You can argue a Gomis round. That's why I have it close on that. That is the closest round in my opinion. You go to the second round. Gomis barely outstrikes Brito on the feet, and Brito has a takedown. So that's another round that maybe you can say is close again, but again, I think when I say Gomis barely outstruck him, I mean it's like 1 to 2 strikes. It's really not that important. Brito has a takedown. You give the round to him. It's close. On second look, it's close, but again, I didn't write that in. Third round, this is like the most definitive round. This is 100,000% the most definitive round. Both of them have a takedown, but Brito outstrikes Gomis by 6 strikes. He outstrikes him clear, and they both have a takedown. In fact, Gomis gets his takedown at the end, but that's irrelevant because Brito has his takedown already in conjunction with the strikes that he lands on Gomis as well. So there you have it. I have a 30-27. You can argue 29-28. But the rounds are close on the margins. You go to the judges' scorecards. And Ben Cartilage, he has it 29-28 for Gomis. He gives the first round to Gomis. Can't argue with that. He gives the second round to Brito. That's definite, in my opinion, obviously. But none of the judges score that second round for... None of the judges, I want to reiterate this, none of the judges score that second round for Gomis. So they're in agreement with me that it's for Brito. Here's the part that's really fucking me right now. Then he gives the third round, all 3 judges, give the third round to Gomis. It makes no fucking sense. This fight should have gone to Brito. It makes 0 fucking sense. 0 sense. Anders Olsen, he gives the first round to Brito. Second round to Brito. Last round to Gomis. Again, I don't know what the fuck they're looking at. Gomis is outstruck in this round, and they both have a takedown. First two for Brito, last round for Gomis. 29-28 for Brito. And then Clemens Warner, his scorecard reflects Ben Cartlidge. I'm fucking lost. It makes no fucking sense. I'm confused. So, there you have it on that. You go to the next honorable mention, and it's Moicano versus Saint-Denis. Moicano wins by Dr. Stoppage I know they say the end of the second round, but third round, start of the third round, whatever. Wins by Dr. Stoppage from all the work he did in the first round. Okay, I had a 10-8 in the first round, and then a 10-9 for Saint-Denis in the second round. In the moment, I was kind of pissed at Moicano because I'm scoring it, and I'm like, can Moicano fucking move? Is Moicano taking a break? And that's what he did. In the second round, he took a fucking break. He just lagged off. And then in the third round, they looked at Saint-Denis' eyes, and they were like, nope, he legit can't see. And they stopped it. And go to the first round. Moicano had 3 takedowns with ground and pound, with heavy ground and pound in occasional spots for about 4+ minutes. Possible 10-8. I gave it 10-8. Second round, Saint-Denis essentially was outstriking Moicano the entire round, but he outstruck him by about 2 strikes. But for the entire round, he was outstriking him. He outstruck him barely, but again, he outstruck him. And that's where you get my 10-9 for Saint-Denis. You go to the judges' scorecards, and they all yield the same, really. All of them reflect mine. Ben Cartlidge, David Letheby, and Clemens Warner. Their scorecards reflect mine as well. And that's it. Great night of fights. It was actually fun to watch. It was actually enjoyable. The main card was enjoyable. The prelims were enjoyable. And that's all I got. I'm close to UFC 307. I'll start that soon. Thank you all for listening. And God bless.